Okay, hello party people. I hope you're all having a good day. Oh, that's a bit higher than I wanted. There we go. Today, obviously, is Tuesday, and I'm late with the Monday Media Review. I had to do some unexpected traveling yesterday, so unfortunately I didn't have a chance to record. So, the film today is obviously Canadian Bacon. Oh dear, just a moment. I seem to have lost some of my settings. There we are. Okay. Yeah, my OBS has done some funky things in the last few months. So hopefully everything will work properly, and I need to adjust my microphone, so I do apologize if there's a bit of noise. Interesting. That arm. Okay. Da 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 da. Okay, we're good. It's a professional operation I run here. Really, it is. Okay, so today we're looking at Canadian Bacon from 1995, which honestly I thought Canadian Bacon was far older than this. This was John Candy's last film, which, well, sorry, last released film. Photography for this had wrapped before Wagons East had, but of course Candy died during the production of Wagons East. And yeah, so we will, of course, remember Mr. Candy, as, of course, those of you who watch this series regularly will remember that last week I did I Like Me, the John Candy documentary on Prime, and this too actually was on Prime. So it occurred to me that Canadian Bacon would be a good choice for a film, and I actually have to alter this mildly because I thought I had the entire shot. There we go. Now the entire, oops. Little more. There we go. Okay, I thought the entire image was in view, but it apparently was not. So, this is, of course, the cover. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, or X, or TwXtter, you will, of course, recognize the image from about, let's see, well, you can't, from about the bottom of the skyline up of the poster, because that's what I posted on X earlier to give people a hint of what I was doing without actually telling them what I was doing until someone responded. So, let's get into this. The very first piece of trivia that we wanted to talk about is the fact that this is actually Madonna's production company. And apparently, and we'll come to the trivia at the end, of course, but apparently Maverick was the only company that was willing to take the option for the film. Interesting. Possibly because Michael Moore had, at that point, not done anything that wasn't a documentary style. Possibly for other reasons. In any case, oddly enough, I think we owe Madonna a debt of gratitude for this. This is actually a really good film. So that'll give you a hint as to my recommendation later. So, of course, it's a film by Michael Moore, as I mentioned, which, surprisingly, this is the only, as far as I know, the only fictional film by Michael Moore. And I have some things to say about that, too. Just a second, I have a eyelash deciding to be rogue and rampant. There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, it opens with a shot of Niagara Falls. The early action takes place in Niagara Falls, of course. So what's happening here? This individual, played by O'Connor, Kevin O'Connor, is attempting to commit suicide as a political statement against the employer, a military contractor from the U.S., so he's attempting to commit suicide as a political statement against those people. At first, he tries to run his Geo Metro. Yeah, I know. Through the railing. Fails miserably. I will point out this is definitely a comedy. It's a bit of a dark comedy, and there's another film that this calls out to quite a bit in terms of the character writing. I won't spoil what film that is, but if you've seen this film and you've seen the other film, you have an idea. in any case, as I was saying, this fellow's trying to commit suicide. And yes, that's also part of the reason that YouTube will probably have demonetized this, or potentially even age-restricted this video by the time you see it, because I don't, in fact, shy away from using words like suicide, kill, and rape. I understand that larger content creators do, and I understand why, but I simply won't. If you guys want to support me, the best way to do it is in here and in the description, and I would deeply appreciate it. And of course, as always, since his name is there, Simon, thank you very much for your continuing support. And to the Orangutan Gang, everybody who's bought merch, everybody who's sent me any payment at all, deeply appreciated. So, yeah, this is a great way to introduce John Candy. Oh, and I did want to say about the last image, ironically, 30 years later, the Canadian government would help this man commit suicide. Yeah, unfortunately, it's unavoidable for me to be a little political in this one. Which, I mean, the tone of the film kind of sets it up. But, yeah, keep in mind that 30 years later number. Because, yeah, and it is actually the 30th anniversary of this movie. Which is surprising. I'm quite surprised by that. So, one of the things I wanted to point out is that one of the first really good shots we get of Rhea Perlman is her aiming a rifle at the attempted suicide. Because that's how you stop them when you're American, apparently. You use a gun. But according to my best guess, confirmed by the IMFDB, that's the Internet Movie Firearms Database, for those of you who don't know, this is, in fact, a Mini 14. Also, that's one hell of a way to stop a suicide. Which is this image. She just winged him. It's okay. He's fine. And, yeah, this image. Can you tell that these guys work for a closing weapons manufacturer? Guys are strapping friggin' intercontinental ICBMs onto... Yeah, I know. Intercontinental ballistic missiles. See, I can say it. I just didn't want to. ICBMs onto the top of their vehicles. What else have we got here? No, that's it for this image. Repeatedly, I wonder if Michael Moore really had any intention of bringing up the anti-whiteism and the racial disconnect 30 years early with this particular moment. I seriously doubt it, but there are a few disturbingly prescient moments in this film. Yeah, John Candy telling the black guy to ease off with all the white people stuff is interesting. The irony of this is the fact that now most NHL teams are less than 30% or less than a third Canadian in terms of their demographic makeup. Yeah. And we're back to the black guy taunting his white friend about how they, the blacks, will take over hockey. This was pretty telling about Michael Moore's attitude towards his own people. Especially given that particular smirk that this fella has. Let's see. 11, 12, and 13 are connected. Oh, yeah. And another thing, their beer sucks. It's ironic that it's John Candy saying that, as he was Canadian. It's even more ironic that, no, I'm sorry, American beer is absolute piss water by comparison. I don't care if it actually starts a fight. It might even be a justified fight, and I really wish I'd gotten a slightly less blurry shot of Rhea Perlman throwing what was actually a pretty decent right hook. Or right cross, rather. Where are we here? Oh, yeah, turns out the CIA was on to Doug Ford when he was only 30 years old. I really didn't realize Doug Ford is 60-odd years old. 60, 61, something like that. But yeah, the threat of power outages. As I said, mildly prescient. These connected shots are really funny as well. I think Moore missed his calling as a satirist, and possibly even as a futurist. These three shots. Canadians are always dreaming up a lot of ways to ruin our lives. The metric system, for the love of God. Celsius. Neil Young. And I really think this fellow was having a hard time keeping the grin off his face when he was saying it. I made the mistake of not paying attention to who played him. Give me just a moment. We'll pop back over here and I'll tell you. It is... Where's Gus? There he is. Brad Sullivan. And he did a great job in this film. Excuse me. But yeah. Yeah. A lot of Canadians feel the same way about Neil Young, to be fair. They're practically the 51st state. Yeah, there's where some of this futurism comes in. Their entire government is run by socialists. I mean, where's the lie? Yeah, I mean, I get that this was about the Gulf War wag the dog propaganda stuff to justify the first Iraq invasion. But still, Mr. President, the American people will buy whatever we tell them to. Remember that this was written before it was legal for the U.S. government to propagandize its own people. Speaking of propaganda, the propaganda campaign is surprisingly prescient. The list of Canadian celebrities in the U.S. was interesting trivia, though. I never knew Monty Hall was Canadian until I saw this. Yeah, turns out Monty Hall, let's make a deal, he was Canadian. And I know that reference is probably going to go directly over the head of a lot of the younger people in my audience. Go ask your dad. Maybe your grandpa. Let's see, where are we here? 25. There we are. Yes, the Canadians do in fact have a threatening lead in Zamboni technology. I will say this. The writing in this is extremely good. So, I mean, it's got a bunch of great laughs in it. The Ballad of the Green Berets being used for this moment. Interesting. It's, how did I put it? An interesting touch of soundtrack snark. Yeah. Imagine if the Canadian government had been saying elbows up at this point. Yeah. Speaking of governments that are propagandizing their own people. We come now to the reference to the other movie. Here, Rip Torn as General Panzer is clearly channeling George C. Scott's Buck Turgidson from Dr. Strangelove. And if you've never seen Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, pause this video and go fucking rent it. If you don't, want to own it. Or find some free way to watch it. Look at Tubi or what have you. It's probably there. But if you have never seen Dr. Strangelove, you need to. The mix of facts and fiction. Yeah. I mean, the fact that 90% of the Canadian population continues to live within 100 kilometers of the U.S. border. I mean, it just is what it is. We're cozying up to you guys for warmth. Let me see, where am I here? Oh, yeah. Propaganda works, but best on those who don't expect it. That's it. It works best on those who don't expect it. If you can name the movie this, and by all means, pause the film here, pause the video here, and go to my comments and tell me if you know what movie from, I believe about 85, 86, this is a reference to. Because if you know it, you definitely deserve to call yourself a cinemaphile. I'll give you a few seconds here now before I reveal it. Okay, so it's actually a reference to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Richard Dreyfuss, I believe it is, forms or shapes the Devil's Tower in his mashed potatoes. Yeah, the fact that they're talking about the CN Tower and referencing Devil's Tower, it's pretty good movie making. I love how their idea of terrorism, of committing a terrorist act on Canadian soil, is fucking littering. This has me thrown. The fella on the left looks so familiar. I think it. I honestly thought it was John Cleese, but this is 30 years ago. I don't think John Cleese was this old looking at the time. For the life of me, I cannot place who either of these guys are. And the only Mountie that's credited on the IMDb is Stephen Wright, who has a more extensive speaking part than the older gentleman here or the younger gentleman here. What did I write here? It's excellently written or possibly improv'd scene, but who are these guys? And if you guys know, by all means, please go to the comments and tell me. For the life of me, I can't place either one of them, and they both look so familiar. He said the thing! He said the thing! Also, it being immediately followed by a cha-chinging cash register sound is a cute touch. Yeah. When they cut to another character and he says the words Operation Canadian Bacon, and there's a cha-ching, excuse me, a cha-chinging cash register. Fighting this cold. Had a wicked sinus infection yesterday as well, or sinus congestion thing yesterday. I'm better now. Sort of. For now. We'll see how long it lasts. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Operation Canadian Bacon, A Line in the Snow. Honestly, we really do deserve better psyops, don't we? I mean, this was 30 years ago. Nobody was making psyops for the North Americans at the time. That involved only North America. Yeah. We need better psyops. I had to enhance the color of this one, so it may be a little weird on your screen. It's a lot weird on mine. But Granny seems to have a burgeoning Shibari thing. If you know what Shibari is, don't tell me in the comments, because I do know what it is, and I don't want to scar other people who don't. Don't Google it. Yeah, this is cute. I wonder if the RCMP refused to actually be represented officially in this, but at the time I did when I was watching it. But in the end credits, there is a thank you to the RCMP. So I'm not sure if someone screwed up the sign making or if this was intentional. Excuse me. What do we got here? We're coming to this prescience thing again. The note I have here is, are we certain Michael Moore isn't a time traveler? I'm your worst nightmare. I'm a citizen with the constitutional right to bear arms. I mean, it's either prescient or the guy was here and then there. Or now and then. I know. Talking about time travel is very weird. The relative descriptors are twisty. Let me see. Where are we here? Oh, yeah. Who's this guy? Because he sure likes playing cops. That is, in fact, Dan Aykroyd, who, if I recall correctly, is not credited. We'll come to the credits after, of course. But, yeah, I'm not 100% certain that Aykroyd is credited at all in this. Let's see. This is number 43. Oh, yeah. This made me laugh out loud. Aykroyd's cop stops Candy, pulls him back, and says, "What's wrong with this picture?" Now, I honestly expected that he was going to say there should be a comma after suck. No. And bless Michael Moore, he was satirizing our frigging language laws. Yeah, so he makes the cop makes the guys do it again in French, so it's bilingual. Canucks are dog meat. Canucks est chien chaud. Eat my shorts. Mange mes briefs. USA all the way. USA tour the way. Quebecois is a funny language. You suck, Canada. Va te sucer, Canuck. Actually, yeah, Quebecois is funny because the French that I learned, this should be a Z, not an R. And it would be vous. Yeah, I know like three different. I learned in three different dialects of French. So yeah, my accent is what's the French? Atrocieux. This has gone too far. This is too fucking far. Damn you, Michael Moore. Gordon Lightfoot is a goddamn North American treasure, and I won't hear a word said about him. Sundown, you better take care. Seriously though, if you've never listened to Gordon Lightfoot's music, you're missing out. Let's see, what else have we got? Just the hits though. What do we got next? Speaking of music, and there are a couple of decent musical references in this. Oddly enough, Celine Dion isn't one of them, and I'm racking my brain to think if Celine Dion was as popular in the U.S. then as she was now. I'm thinking not, because this is a couple of years pre-Titanic, so. But. Oh, yeah, okay, next page. The irony of this, the fact that Michael Moore put this song in the words of these men, and Bruce Springsteen wrote it as a satirization of men like this, of men who are this kind of patriot. I don't think anybody really got the irony. I had to screenshot this moment because that phrasing made me think, okay, either he's going to die or he's not, and it's just going to be a subversion of expectation. And yeah, this is just another, well, it's another moment where Michael Moore makes the anti-whiteism choice. Yeah, he made Candy and O'Connor's characters look, well, unapologetically racist. Where if they had taken a lighter tone, it would have just looked like a bunch of friends laughing with each other, which is generally how male racism goes when we're in an interracial friend group, or a multiracial friend group. Yeah. Yeah, the real racists are the ones who laugh at each other. Oh yeah, and of course the corporate tycoon had to be the mad, evil madman. Yeah. As the boys get to Toronto, of course, they say, "Look, boys, there's Toronto." And yeah, I am left with the overwhelming urge to include a Star Wars quote: "You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy, if you don't count Ottawa." And I left a typo in there. There's an extra space right here. Oopsie. Yeah, so what? You don't portage your canoe through downtown? Okay. Just a chuckling moment, so yeah. I did get a kick out of the fact that the Spec Ops Omega Force, I was waiting for the stinger, the Omega Force guys aren't in as good a shape as John Candy. Yeah. And the world is saved by Rhea Perlman with an AR-15. Yeah. Oh, I missed one here. Did I double up? Oh, I accidentally doubled one up. Okay. It doesn't really matter. The image was basically more being hateful towards the U.S. Yeah. I'll describe it for you. Perlman and Candy get to the shore of, I'm going to guess, Lake Ontario. Maybe Lake Erie. Actually, it's probably Lake Erie. And they're looking across the water and they're going, "Oh, look, it's home, it's home." And the cut is to an industrial plant that's producing a lot of smoke, smog, and yeah. So, you know, Moore clearly has some anti-U.S. animus. I just miss these pre-credits cards. I really do. Like, it's one of those things that used to be done in movies very regularly that doesn't get done as much anymore. And it's kind of one of those things that I really miss. So, yeah. But, I mean, some of them are just absolutely hilarious. Rip Torn took his own life. Oh, sorry. General Panzer took his own life upon learning Hogan's Heroes was entirely fictional. I'd have voted for him. I'd have absolutely voted for him. Clark MacDonald. Absolutely. Also, rest in peace, Wallace Shawn. And, of course, no Canadians were harmed during this production. I have mixed feelings about that. And, of course, to Johnny LaRue, thanks to you, we got our crane shot. For those of you who remember or have watched I Like Me, or remember the references I made. Actually, I don't believe I did, come to think of it, but they do reference the character of Johnny LaRue quite a lot in the Candy documentary. It's, of course, a reference to John Candy. So, rip Mr. Candy as well. And we come to the end page. And, yeah, I mean, it's a nice, simple, fine logo. To give it a rank, 9.5 out of 10. I honestly believe Michael Moore missed his fucking calling. He should have been a satirical filmmaker. Mike, if you're ever watching this, likely, but if you ever do happen to watch this, or anyone happens to put it in front of you, please, for the love of God, satirize something. I don't care what, but find whoever did the writing with you for this, and do something else. This is some of your best work. And I liked Fahrenheit 9/11. I liked Bowling for Columbine. But for the love of God, do more like this. Because you really missed your calling on satire. Now, we come to the IMDb page. We'll go through the cast a little quick here. Just do the top cast. Of course, we have John Candy, Alan Alda, Kevin Pollak, Rhea Perlman, Rip Torn, Kevin O'Connor, G.D. Spradlin. G.D. Spradlin did an amazing job as R.J. Hacker. Bill Nunn, Stephen Wright. Stephen Wright as the Mountie was so hilariously perfect. Jim Belushi is in briefly. Brad Sullivan, of course. Stanley Anderson, Richard Council, Wallace Shawn. Is there anyone else as a big name that I recognize? No. Beth Amos as Ruthie. That was, Shibari Granny. Yeah. But we'll go to the trivia page here now and go down through that rather quickly. Here we are. Let's open them all up. Okay, so this was the final theatrical feature film of actor, comedian, movie star John Candy, although filming had wrapped on this film before Wagons East, which was released a year earlier. Alan Alda's character, the President, is never given a name and is referred to and credited only as the President of the United States. The final note in the credits to Johnny LaRue, thanks to you we got our crane shot, is a reference to one of John Candy's recurring characters from SCTV. In one scene, the characters played by Candy, Nunn, and O'Connor sit around a campfire and discuss films in which black characters are killed before their white co-stars. O'Connor mentions Forrest Gump, which was released 6 months after principal photography on Bacon was completed, and 4 months after Candy's death. The line was looped in after the scene was shot. John Candy, born and raised in Canada, plays Sheriff Bud Boomer, who is not only American, but rabidly anti-Canada. One of the odd little inside jokes is the title. Canadian bacon is actually an American term. We don't call it Canadian bacon up here. We call it back bacon. According to the American Pork Producers Association, the name was coined to designate that style of bacon which was, many years ago, imported from Canada because such a cut was not produced in the U.S. at the time. Generally it's referred to as back bacon. I just call it thin-sliced ham because I've never taken to calling it back bacon. Moore was turned down by 47 different film companies before Madonna's Maverick Productions picked up the option. So thank you, Madonna. Moore's first and only, as of this year, dramatized and non-documentary film as a director. Moore wrote the screenplay during the First Gulf War. I'm guessing he wrote it by himself. Don't believe anybody else was credited as a writer. So Mike, please, for the love of God, do more of this. This was good. Do one satirizing the 51st state thing, because you mentioned it here, and it would be a great way to do Canadian bacon too. And talk to Shane Gillis. He could be, Bud Boomer Jr. or Bud Boomer the Third at this point. It's been 30 years. In the scene in which the list of Canadian actors that have infiltrated America is shown on the news, Rick Moranis' name appears. Moranis co-starred with Candy on SCTV twice and Spaceballs. And at some point I'm going to have to do Spaceballs. When Bud and the others leave the Mountie station, there's a sign for Mountie Employee of the Month, which we saw. There's a picture of Dan Aykroyd, who has an uncredited role in this film as a Mountie. He's also the OPP officer who pulls the boys over and makes them bilingualize their graffiti. A deleted scene featured Jim Belushi and Mary Charlotte Wilcox as Canadian border guards wearing beaver hats. They improvised the entire scene. Afterward, Belushi, relative newcomer to the comedy scene, told comedy veteran Wilcox, whom he didn't recognize, "You're kind of funny, and that you should try to get into comedy." The Prime Minister's name, Clark MacDonald, comes from two Canadian Prime Ministers, Joe Clark, who was Prime Minister very briefly from 79 to 80, and John A. Macdonald, who was, if I recall correctly, the first Canadian Prime Minister from 1867 to 1873. During the scene where the U.S. military defense team looks through a list of enemies against whom they can possibly declare war, a picture of aliens in black suits is shown. Rip Torn, who plays General Dick Panzer, a very hilarious reference to General Buck Turgidson, would go on to star in Men in Black, where he played the head of the MIB. Yeah. Alan Alda plays an unpopular president who is advised by his most loyal advisor to declare war against Canada in order to be more popular with the population. Alda would later play an advisor in Murder at 1600 who pressures an unpopular president to get into a conflict, this time in Korea. And there is a scene where they talk, where two of the characters are talking about Korea, and one wants to bomb it, and the other one points out, no, those are South Koreans. Those are our Koreans now. John Candy and Rip Torn had previously co-starred in Summer Rental, movie I haven't seen, and this was the final film of Beth Amos, who played Ruthie, so also Rip Beth Amos. There's a cameo from Maurice Vachon. What was Vachon called? Oh, I can't remember. But Maurice had a moniker, and if you guys remember it, let me know. But he was, the guy who arm wrestles with Rhea Perlman in the bar. Vachon was a hugely popular professional wrestler for over 40 years, yeah. Even I remember Maurice Vachon. And I haven't watched wrestling in 20-plus years. Dan Aykroyd, the OPP officer who pulls Bud's RV over during the previous campfire scene. Sorry, it wasn't an RV. That was the, I think it was like a garbage truck or something. During the previous campfire scene, Bud, Roy Boy, and Cabral mentioned Driving Miss Daisy, in which Aykroyd happened to co-star. Michael Moore does actually appear as a gun-toting anti-Canadian in this. So yeah. We'll bring the cover back, kill that, shut the browser down. And so my recommendation, absolutely go watch this. It's a good movie if you have Prime. If you can find it anywhere else, it may not only be on Prime. But if you have the opportunity to watch this film, I honestly would recommend watching this as part of a double feature. I would run... it's a bit of a toss-up what order to watch them in, but I would watch this and Doctor Strangelove back-to-back, in either order. I absolutely do believe that Michael Moore missed his calling with this. It would have been a great choice for him to do more satire like this. I guess he just hasn't gotten fired up enough about an issue since. It's a bit of a shame. But anyway, folks, that's it for me. Please do one of those internet-supportive, internet-based things, which are, in the ticker below and in the description. I probably won't be doing a Terra Nova Tuesday tonight for sure. I don't know if I'm going to bring those back or not. I really want to, but it's one of those things where I have a lot of stuff going on at home, or IRL, and a lot of stuff that I really want to do for you guys. So, I have to... Ouch. Sorry, my shoulder just popped out of place. Oh, there we go. That was fun. That's an ancient childhood injury of mine that occasionally flares up as I get older. Yay. In any case, like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff I want to do. I don't always have the time to get it done. I am pretty certain I have fully committed to moving my chill streams to Sundays for the Skyrim streaming, or game streaming. I'm still kind of in love with Skyrim, so at least until I finish, or come to a logical conclusion for Swims in Cold Water's story, that's going to continue for the next little while. I'm considering other games. I've got a bunch of my... excuse me again. I've got a bunch in my inventory but I haven't really played that many. If I can find a way to make the KOTOR games work with a controller, it'll probably be one of those next. Other than that, I don't believe I have that much going on. Come back tomorrow night, though, for the second part of my Live and Let Die live reads. That I will be absolutely committed to until I finish at least the Ian Fleming ones. Yep, okay. And I do have some other work that I'm doing as part of the White Wellbeing sphere, so some of that is also taking some time from me now. Let's see, other than that, my next piece of merch will be out soonish. I had a very good idea yesterday, tracked down whether or not it was workable, discovered it is, so that will definitely be getting done ASAP. Other than that, I have nothing more for you guys. So, as always, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.
Hello, party people. So, you've probably just finished watching one of my videos, and I appreciate your time. That said, if you're watching on YouTube, because they've changed the way they evaluate their views, I need to ask a favor. You need to commit some form of engagement in order for me to have it count as a view, because for some reason YouTube no longer thinks watching something counts as a view. They need some form of engagement to prove you actually watched it. So like, comment, follow, share, subscribe. Any of those things would be appreciated. Other than that, if you want to support me, and this would help me with endeavors across all the platforms I do my content creation on, you can look at Ko-Fi, which is right there in the ticker right at the moment, or you can go over to my Redbubble and pick up some merchandise there. The designs that have been flashing on screen for a while are examples of the designs that I have. You can pick these up on a variety of different products, and yeah, I'll probably end up leaving them up, though from time to time I will put up something that will be time limited. Some of the designs, the Walrus King especially, for example, I intend to leave up all the time because I just love that, and my Ardent Plays logo is for my other Rumble channel. Other than that, I hope you're doing well, I hope you continue to do well, and as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.